Good morning, friends, and happy Wednesday. It is September the 3rd, only 2 weeks away from convention. So the countdown has started and it's coming at us fast. So I asked in the chat, what are you most looking forward to in your life? What's got you giddy with excitement? Lisa says presidential diamond in 13 years. Oh, 3 years, sorry. I'm misread that. So presidential in 3 years. Love that. Selena says, I'm starting a 90-day social media mentoring program today. Ready to grow on social media. Fantastic. And Tony says, teaching my first Zoom class tonight. Awesome. Best of luck with that, Tony. That's super exciting. Zoom is so incredible, right? Like just the gift of technology that we can connect with people. And I mean, as a kid, I heard this idea that people could make video calls, and just it was mind-blowing. Like it just unfathomable, right? And then FaceTime came around, and then I remember there was a network marketing company. What was it called? And they sold a video camera so that you and your family or whoever you wanted to could have video cameras, and it was revolutionary. And it was only like 10 or so years ago. So it was a three-letter word, ACN. That's what it was. ACN. Yeah. And now it's so commonplace. You hop on, you do a video conference, whether it's Teams or Zoom or I remember Skype was a big deal back in the day. Gosh, how cool is it, right? To be alive right now. Awesome. So grateful you're here. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for committing to yourself, for being on this journey of self-development. I am just honored to be here with you. So, I don't have any specific announcements. I do just want to remind everyone about the events around convention. So you can go to sharesuccess.com/convention. And this is what that page looks like. And this is where you can get links to all of the add-ons. So the Essential Motions training, the business training, Move with Joe. We've got our team party, and then we've got an open house on Saturday. And then anybody who wants to do a tour of Temple Square. The temple is shaping up. I heard that 2027 is when that temple will be finished with the remodel. They've actually made it earthquake proof, which I don't know how many of you that keeps you up at night, but we definitely are due for an earthquake here in Utah. So we live right on a fault line. So anyways, yeah, come party, sharesuccess.com/convention. So let's open it up for questions. I am here to serve you today. So just raise your hand and we can bring you on live. And we can talk through anything that's up for you. So just whatever's top of mind. Go ahead and raise your hand and we can bring you on for the chat. All right, Jeff. Let's invite you to come on as a panelist. And then you can unmute yourself.
Good morning.
Hi, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing well, doing well. Looking forward to convention. We will be doing it from home this year as we just got back from a 3-month family tour. And that
Awesome.
was very helpful. It started with a team building event to Ensenada. Thank you, Tanya. And Oh, the team. I love our doTERRA. I believe in the products 100%. The team mission from helping people who are providing the oils and the resources, how we take care of them, the countless stories of it. And I share it all the time. But in 4.5 years in the business, I've enrolled nobody. And I got, 20 phone numbers along our trip, and nobody's replied back. And they all seem so enthusiastic at the time. So something I'm doing isn't working. I haven't been able to do home meetings here as our home isn't yet ready for people and we live out in the sticks. But there's other people who build online and I followed other people like Fraser Brooks or um, God, what's his name? Um, anyways, trying to do it that way, even people in doTERRA, yet I have yet to, so I'm not sure what it is. It's a mindset that you are very successful. I really appreciate you taking time week after week and year after year to do this. And the people you bring on are awesome. I've got a notebook full. I just started another one. Um, I need to get over and enroll some people before the end of the year to prove that I can do this.
I love it.
I ask your advice.
Awesome. Well, thanks for raising your hand, Jeff. I love this conversation of what's the right mindset to get people to take action, right? Like we believe we've had the product experiences, and we just want to share the love, right? Just share the good, all the goodness, all the healing,
Mhm,
all the awesomeness doTERRA has to offer. So
mhm,
how do we transfer that energy? How do we not just inspire belief, but inspire action in others, right? So
mhm,
so let me just ask you a few questions. It sounds like on this recent tour, you gathered up several phone numbers, um,
mhm.
and I assume that you gave people some product experiences in in the process, right? Like you didn't just talk about it, you also got some oils on people.
Yes, it did. And Ann
Good.
and I even helped a lady with poison oak, and that was the
Awesome.
one sale during that. But she was so happy that it worked a little bit on her hand that she
Yeah.
bought a bottle of it. So, anyways,
Yeah. Poison oak is so nasty. I remember my brother-in-law lived in California and he would just get covered in it. He had it on his property and oh my goodness. I
yeah.
grew up with poison ivy in Alabama, but poison oak is next level. So okay, so it sounds like you gave her a positive experience and she did buy
Mhm.
some. So that's awesome. Let's celebrate that. Um, so I think the key with anyone that you're talking to is taking the time to get to know their what does their life look like? What is their if you're looking at the landscape of their needs, where is the greatest need? And it sounds like for this woman, poison oak was like glaring in her face, right? That was filling her whole landscape because I at least it has been for me when I've gotten it before. So it sounds like you were able to speak to her greatest need and
Hmm.
show how doTERRA was a bridge to meet that need. So I think that's the key with getting people to take action is helping them see, um, first of all, sometimes people aren't even clear on what their needs are. So just being a sounding board, kind of a mirror to them to help them see, okay, yeah, maybe finances is really the biggest pain point for me. And so just being able to speak that back to them, with positivity, but also with urgency. Yeah, you're great. Um, so so I think that's the key there is whatever the conversation is, it could be emotional need, it could be physical, it could be financial, whatever the need is, just being really clear that 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 need in their life has a cost. And so sometimes we glaze over that and because we're so excited about the solution, right? We want to jump into how doTERRA can fix things. And
Hmm.
and so getting giving the space to go into the need and the cost of the need. So what is this costing you in terms of, I mean, poison oak, that it's hard to do anything else. My brother-in-law couldn't sleep when he had the poison oak. It was so bad. So what's that costing you? What's it costing you in opportunity? What happens if nothing changes? So getting helping people get clear on the need and the cost of the need is really motivating. When we were enrolling Laura Jacobs into the business, she was spending probably 60 hours a week uh, doing health coaching one-on-one. And she
Hmm.
also ran an herb shop, and that took a lot of her time. And it was just um, getting really, really clear with her. Look, if nothing changes, where are you 2 years from now? Where are you 5 years from now? And so for her, it was this financial, it was really a lifestyle cost that she got really clear on. And when she did, she could see how doTERRA could meet that need, how the power of residual income was a real life solution that could totally change her life. So I think whoever you're talking to, um, the the more clear you can get on their need and the more clear you can communicate, we have solutions to meet your need, the more likely they are to take action. If you're just, sharing, hey, smell this wild orange, doesn't that smell nice? Can I contact you again to see if you want to buy some? That's not really meeting a need, unless mood lifting is a deep need for them. But honestly, the bigger the need, the bigger the action they're going to take. And so, um, what I like to do when I'm meeting with somebody is just keep a mental note of where their hunger is, where their needs are, and every message that I send to them is speaking to that need. So if I'm inviting them to come to a class, if I'm inviting them to experience doTERRA, I'm coming back to their need. So just a couple of weeks ago, we enrolled a new builder who's he's sick and tired of the rat race. He sells cars. He's great at what he does, but he's chained to his job, and he wants to be more present in his family's life. And so when we invited him to experience doTERRA, that's what we spoke to. We're like, hey, super excited for you to come and learn about how you can create time freedom. Super
Hmm.
excited for you to get the tools that you're going to need to break those chains and get free, right? Speaking to the need. Um, I could have talked about how cool the products are. That's not where his need was. I could have talked about how great the social network is in doTERRA. That's not where his need was. So every touch point, um, even if it's not the main thing that you say, make sure it's part of the messaging, speaking to their pain, their need. Um, and it's amazing. Everyone in the world is tuned in to one radio station, and it's Me FM. It's what's in it for me? What am I? I think it's YFM is what people say. Um, so the the messaging, your opportunity is to really have ears to hear those needs, and then be clear on the messaging for whatever it is. If you're inviting them to a class, if you're inviting them to click on a link, if you're inviting them to come to convention, like that was one of our main invitations with this new builder. Yes, come to experience doTERRA, but be sure to clear your calendar to come to convention. And so that's just what Nav and I have found over and over and over again. It doesn't matter how excited you are about the solution. If it doesn't speak
Hmm.
to their need, then it's not going to grab their attention. And how many things are clamoring for our attention these days? We're just
Hmm.
bombarded by so many messages. So
Hmm.
yeah, that would be my main coaching is just tuning in to what people's needs are,
Hmm.
and then yeah, just don't, if it feels like you're a broken record, um, restating their need through your messaging, don't, just let go of that fear, because um, people need a reminder of why this was important. Do you know what I mean? So if people are doing
Hmm.
booths, I always suggest that they have a way to capture people's info and what their top needs are. Are you looking for better sleep? Are you looking for, whatever the pain point is, so that when people message them, they can actually stand out from the hundreds of other brands and products they were exposed to. So, does that make sense, Jeff?
Yes, yes, it does. And thank you. I appreciate the time. With that said, a lot of these meetings for, in our travels, hotel desk clerks, it was really good. I can do the conversation of starting a conversation. How do you get somebody to get that deep into it? What are my needs, um, in a first conversation?
Yeah, great question. Well, just yesterday, I was actually taking an Uber, and um, I just did a lot of question asking. You know,
Hmm.
this gentleman was from Peru. He's got three daughters. He's got six grandsons. So I just did a lot of listening about what his life is like. I asked him, how does he like driving Uber? How long has he been doing it? Why did he choose that over all the other options? And so in that listening, um, I didn't I didn't discover any deep need, but I could tell what his values were. I could tell that he loves his family. His family is everything to him, and so he would do anything to be able to provide for his family. So as I'm following up with him today and yesterday, that's the messaging. I'm speaking to the little that I learned in that 20-minute ride. Um, I
Hmm.
I'm speaking to that, and so um, it's really kind of a life skill to just to get out of you and into them, like get out of your worldview and start to see the world through their eyes. And I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm just saying it's a skill. Natalie is a Jedi when it comes to that. Just yeah, start watching as people are speaking. They're constantly
I will work on
broadcasting.
this and I will get back to you all.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks so much, Jeff.
Thank you.
Love that question. Such a great conversation. Um, And yeah, just my invitation to each of us is to practice listening with those ears, practice um, seeing the world through other people's eyes. Um, Gosh, my Zoom is doing some funny things, but okay, there it goes. Yeah, Artie says, thank you, Jeff, for raising your hand and being vulnerable. So, such a gift, and when one person can be the voice for many. It's a huge gift. So thank you, Jeff. All right, what other questions do you have for me today? How can I serve you today? Becky says, listening is a necessary skill. Just being tuned in for health concerns and needs is a great way to find new customers and builders. Amen. Yes, it is. Um, and I was just thinking the other day, what a gift it is when someone truly hears and sees you, like think back to the last time that you truly felt seen, when somebody took the time, when they got fully present and truly saw and heard you. And what was the gift to you in that experience. Um, I I just yeah, I feel like it's getting harder and harder to be fully present. Um, people's attention spans are getting shorter. Um, and so, yeah, network marketing um, is the only business model I know of where that's the norm, not the exception, where people are willing to say, "Hey, I'm here for you, and I can take the time, I can see you, I can listen, and we can just be, um, yeah, just sync up our lives, our um, serve at a deeper, more meaningful level." So great invitation, great reminder to each of us. All right, what other questions do you have? What's coming up for you as you think about your doTERRA team, about your own personal development? What books are you reading lately? What's been coming up through your own personal development? I'd love to hear. Is anybody reading Mel Robbins? Anything else? Ooh, Bonnie says Brene Brown, Atlas of the Heart. Isn't Brene just a Jedi? Gosh, what an incredible soul she is. So grateful for her insights and for her ability um, to convey, right? Like she's such a storyteller, and she's also a researcher. So yeah, she is great. Great. What else? What else are you studying? Are you learning? Um, Jeff mentioned Fraser Brooks. He's a mentor that I just learned about on the presidential trip. So I guess he's based in Europe, and he has a really big following, especially in Europe. Um, and he specializes in network marketing. But I haven't read any of his material or watched his seminars. Um, I'd love to hear if anybody else can speak to Fraser. Lisa says the science of scaling. Ooh, that sounds yummy. Jeff says the success principle. So good, right? Yeah, Tiffany refers to that one all the time. Becky says How We Love by Milan and Ye Yurkovich. It's about attachment styles and how to find root issues with repeat relationship challenges. Wow, that sounds good. I am a huge fan of the attachment theory and all the great models that have been built around attachment theory. One of my favorites is Sue Johnson. What was the name of um, Hold Me Tight is a great book by Sue Johnson. And then she has another one. Um, was it Love Sense? I thought there was another book. Um, but her whole thing is emotionally focused therapy. And I heard, haven't verified this, but I heard that John Gottman, who is like the leading researcher in all of relationships, like he's just revered through the whole world for marriage and just he's the research guy. And he has said that Sue Johnson can explain his research better than he can explain his research. So pretty great stuff. Okay, any other questions? Raise your hand. I'd love to serve and chat. So come on in to my living room, if you will. It's actually the office, but you know what I mean. It's a metaphor. All right. Okay, next question. What have you done in the past week to expand your network? tell me your top activity for expanding your network. Let's make this a mastermind here. All right. Well, raise your hand if you got any other questions. I do have a really cool announcement. Many of you know um, Matt and Shantae Hall. They are two rock stars on our front line, and we have loved building with them for the last 12 years. They have maybe the cleanest mindset of just about anyone I know of in doTERRA. And they have been looking for a way to serve their English-speaking teams. And so Shantae actually raised her hand and said, "Hey, why don't I come on to this call and I can connect with my team and serve your team at the same time." So, starting the week after convention, she'll be coming on, and we'll do a couple calls together, and then we're going to alternate months. And so she is she has kindly offered to be co-host and share this call. So you'll get to learn from more than just myself. You'll get to hear from her as well. So I described her and Matt as having a clean mindset. So mindset is the way you think, kind of the way you view the world and the way you problem solve. Those two, they love to do the impossible. I almost feel like the harder the task, the more willing and gladly they run into the challenge. So they just, they've tackled some really tough markets: Brazil, India, Italy. They are shining stars in terms of mindset. Okay, I've got Tony raising their hand. So Tony, if you want to accept coming on as a panelist and then unmute. Gosh, I don't know if Zoom's being funny for anyone else, but it is not responding the way it normally does. So Tony, go ahead and
I tried unmuting. Can you hear me now?
we can hear you now. Welcome.
Thank you. I don't know why there's no photo. I'm sorry about that. No
You're
picture.
totally fine. Yeah, Zoom's being really funny today.
It is being weird. I'm not very good at typing, so my little thing probably didn't make any sense, but I have done Silver Club before, and I didn't want to do the stress of Diamond Club right now. So instead, I have brand new builders, and I am challenging them to a mock-up of what either one of those are. So I'm doing prizes and incentives to them for their amount of enrollments, or like I gave them, I'll give them points, amount of enrollments, or if they, I mentioned being my first teaching Zoom tonight. If one of them wants to say they're the host for it next time, then they'll get an extra point for that. Or if they get them on LRP, they'll get extra points for that. And, it's my first time. It's all experimental, but they got excited. I have, brand new builders. So let's see how this plays out.
I love that. Yeah. So Diamond Mock Challenge. That's fantastic.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
have any, I made it real clear to them, there's no expectations, I'd love you to do this, but don't feel stressed out over it. I'm here to support you. I want you to grow and learn and, so, yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah. Here's the cool thing about all of the programs, right? Everything from Silver Club to Diamond Club to, everything in between. Um, there's nothing sacred about those programs, right? Like it's just giving a little bit of structure to what all of us can and should be doing. And so um, if we didn't make the cut to get into one of those, is all lost? Of course not. The whole and in fact, before doTERRA did Diamond Club, we started doing Diamond Club without them. Like we started offering travel incentives to people as they expand their doTERRA teams. So yeah, absolutely do not feel like your hands are tied with just the programs doTERRA offers. Go out and create your own, create your own challenges, create your own wellness training, like doTERRA is great. And a lot of times we can do those things even better. With they have their perspective, but we're the ones in the field. And so absolutely go rock it. I'm so excited for you, Tony.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, there's no expectations, no limitations. So
Exactly.
yeah, creativity is one of my fortes. So I'm just gonna make it fun.
That's awesome. Well, we'll be cheering for you. Go
Thank
get 'em,
you.
Tony. That's awesome. I yeah, I love when people take initiative and take ownership of their team, of their success. Tony's modeled that for us today. So thank you, Tony. Um, yeah, think outside the box. What can I do today to um, to build momentum, to build belief, to inspire action? That's kind of been a theme from Jeff to Tony. Um, how can I inspire action? And yeah, the fact is, just a little bit of structure goes a long ways. So we used to do what's called the success challenge. So we had this whole interface, we had an app, and it was basically just having people report on what their activities were. How many people did I talk to? How many classes did I teach? How many enrollments did I get? How many, can't remember the other uh, metrics that we tracked, but that's all it was. It was just a simple return and report kind of framework. And we had massive success. We had lots of people who were really, really excited, got a lot of benefit. So everybody can do the same thing. In fact, some people are doing that just through like Facebook groups. Some of them are doing through WhatsApp groups. You don't have to build an app. You don't have to build a back end. It's just, I'm going to gather some people and we're going to run together and here are the bumpers, if you will. Here's the framework, and let's run. Love that. All right. What are the questions you have for me today? Raise your hand. Throw them in the chat. And Robin says, I enrolled a person for my church with the Foundation of Wellness, scheduled 2 Zoom classes for September, and followed up with a person who reactivated and got their products. Awesome. Way to create action, way to create momentum, way to build belief. That's the business that we're in, right? Is building belief. All right. Any other questions or thoughts, comments? Anybody want to share? Yeah, prizes. Tony says she needs to gather more prizes. Don't don't feel like the prizes have to be elaborate or expensive or hard to obtain. You can keep it simple too. So, um, in fact, I've seen some people who have built online funnels, and all they're doing is offering an ebook that doTERRA offers. So they didn't have to make an ebook. With AI nowadays, you can actually make an ebook pretty easily, but this is back in the day before that, and it doesn't even need to be that complicated. So, hi, Ruth.
Hey, Andy. Good to see you. Good to be on the call, and thank you
You
for
too.
bringing it. I really appreciate y'all's consistency on doing this call. And actually, that was what I wanted to talk about is developing habits. I had a major life change and stepped aside for a while
Hmm.
and coming back, and I'm coming back slow. I'm not trying to overwhelm because I tend to try to do too much at a time and then everything falls apart, right?
Hmm.
So what I've been doing since June is I'm consistently doing one Zoom class a month. I had one of my leaders test me out, by attending. And then the next one she was going to do, she said, "Would you teach that one?" So that was encouraging that, I am, and I'm enrolling.
Uh-huh.
Um, where I'm having the challenge, and I remember Tiffany talking about self-care, and I was always like, yeah,
Hmm.
self-care. But where I'm having trouble is that consistency with myself, right? A morning routine that'll benefit me,
Hmm.
how I don't know. Is there a book? I mean, is there something that'll magically bang me on the head and, oh yeah, take care of yourself, and hear me bang me on the head? How is that taking care of myself? Yeah. So I guess I don't know whether I want to talk about developing habits or self-care. I really don't want to talk about self-care, but I know that's the root.
Hmm. So this is a great question. I love this topic. Um, so tell me, um, what comes up for you, um, when you think about, first of all, let's define self-care. So what if you were to prioritize just one or two habits of self-care, what would you say are, maybe the most needful at this time for you?
So moving more would be
Okay.
one. Um, just doesn't have to be a whole lot. I'm pretty good. I'm getting my probiotic in the morning. Um, remember to feed the cat. That's good. Um, she's someone new in my life too.
Yeah.
Um, but it comes down to just doing 10 minutes of movement. It's like
Mhm.
I was like, okay, tend to let that go. I mean, even that simple. And just I guess changing the habit of my self-talk as well. How,
Mhm.
and I know you said one or two and listen to me just like, yeah, a lot. And maybe that's part of the problem, trying to do too much at once. And I don't know.
No, it's great. It sounds like movement is maybe top of the list. So let's
Yeah.
just think through. So in any given day, as you consciously know that movement's your priority. As you um, tell me more about the chatter that happens in your mind. You know that you need to do it. What are the reasons you don't?
It seems like there's always other things that are more important to get done,
Okay.
instead of just, okay, stopping and doing something, whether it's stretching or, you know, something. And I found a few little really good things to do, but it's like, okay, I'll do that later because it's more important to get this done or make this call or
Mm.
whatever.
Okay. So it's important, but it's not the priority. It sounds like, it feels like a thing that needs to get done. it feels more like a have to from the language that you're using.
Mhm.
It doesn't feel like um, that type of self-care would feed you. It would just feel like a to-do item. Does that-
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, okay, get it done because we all know that our bodies need to move, right? To get the lymph going, the whole thing. I mean,
yeah,
we know it's important, good for the heart, all of
sure.
that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just back up and kind of take a look at um the mindset here. Um, what would it take? Um, like what kind of life event would it take for you to value you? For you to make this number one priority?
Oh, that's a tough question. And maybe one I don't want to answer. Being transparent here. The
Sure.
friends that are on this call know they always get that from me. Um, I guess something major would be, getting sick or something, it's like, because we all know I'm 65, so we all know, hey, you need to move, you need to do the things.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. So, um, so it's interesting how life um, it works really well at giving us those wake up calls, and and sometimes that's really what it takes. Like we have to get sick, we have to get um, ill, or just lose mobility, for example, before that becomes really important. So I want to think about it from another viewpoint now. Um, what could it look like and feel like if you treated your body like you loved yourself?
Mm, just, being able to move but without that stiffness, you know, not worrying about climbing up on something and standing, which my kids have said, don't you do that without someone with you, how kids can be.
Mhm.
Um, just being able to have, I guess, just more mobility, more flexibility. Um,
Yeah. So
yeah.
it sounds like it could be it could contribute to flexibility, but I want you to kind of zoom back a little bit, and I'm guessing that you're really good at taking care of other people,
Mm, yeah, I
and
would say.
you probably bend over backwards to the 10th um, to serve others, right? Um, and I'm guessing that it's pretty natural for you to care for others in that way,
Yes.
be um, you know to just manifest your love in a way that looks like service, right? So what would it look like if you loved yourself, if you treated your body as if you loved yourself?
I'm writing that down because I think I'm writing the question down to
Okay.
really dig into this. Hmm. What would it look like? This seems so foreign to me. I didn't realize how far away I'd gotten from just really jumping in and taking care of myself. So it's definitely a little challenging. Um,
Maybe try closing your eyes. What would it look like? What would it feel like?
I would breathe.
Okay. What else?
When I hit a challenge, instead of berating myself for not being able to do it, most of it's stuff around the house, I would instead deep breath and find someone that could help me and just say, you know what, you can't know everything. And again, reach out and find someone that can help. And then not feel bad that I have to ask for help.
Mm,
I would drink more water
mm,
and speak kinder to myself, encouraging myself like I encourage others.
hmm.
I would allow myself to cry when I needed to instead of holding it in.
Mm.
I would I would just take small steps.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the key right there. Um, I love this question because it doesn't matter how much we know. Like we could go to a 10-year seminar about how important it is to move your body for 10 minutes a day. And it might not change our actions. It probably wouldn't translate into actually doing the things. I mean, we have how much knowledge in America about health and wellness and look at the state of our health, right? Like it's not a knowledge deficit. Um, the the root is the feeling. How do you feel about you? How do you feel about your body? And when you lean into treating yourself like someone you love, that can start to change. And there are some beautiful byproducts that come when that's the first step in the journey. And I love how most of those things that you said had to do with being compassionate with yourself. There were some steps that would come, but ultimately it came down to you would be gentler with yourself. And that's a really beautiful way to be. If we get our steps in, that's fantastic. But if we can choose love and let that love just radiate from a really deep space, I've just found that that's an attractive energy that people just want to be part of. And that may be my top tip for anyone who wants to build this doTERRA thing as a business is to be the energy that you want more of in your life. You know, if you want the energy of love, be love. If you want the energy of action, be in motion. So I think that's a really useful mind journey for you to take on a regular basis, is how would it feel to treat myself like someone I love. And I found that it's shocking how rarely we do just that, how rarely we treat ourselves like someone we love. Um, you know, the food that we eat, um, the rest that we give ourselves, the hydration. I mean, you mentioned all the things, and we can sit and talk about all the to-dos, but it all starts with a core belief. You know, am I worthy of the care that everyone tells me I need? You know, do I really deserve to take 10 minutes and go for a walk right now? Right? I mean, that's ultimately, beliefs are what dictate all action that we take. So, um, so yeah, I think I love this. As you close your eyes and you started to really lean into that, I love the grace that naturally flowed from you to yourself. And that's, I guess that's my invitation to all of us, is to ask yourself that same question, right? What would it look like to treat myself like someone I love? What kind of food would I eat? What kind of schedule would I keep? And I love the stories, right? Like we can come up with all kinds of stories, but I've got 7 kids. I've got this house that needs to be cleaned. Okay. Yeah, those are all stories. Those are all just things that we've made up to guilt ourselves into a certain activity. But ultimately, that space of love is just, it's so yummy. It's so nurturing. So yeah, how does that land for you, Ruth?
You know, it gives me a couple questions which to ask and work with. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for raising your hand, and thanks for creating this space. I hope you can go back and read the comments. Lots of people sending you lots of love, and have some um, great tips as well.
Okay, I'll try to do that.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Ruth.
Okay, thank you.
Wow. Great, great conversation. I'm just reading through the comments. Yeah, there are lots of practical tips in the conversation. You know, Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning, super practical. Habit stacking, very practical. Um, yeah. The there's something to be said for hacking your habits. Um, but probably the most profound thing for me, um, you know, we helped Seth Resume build this presentation around the health in America. You know, it's really frightening, the state of our health in America. And so this book by Dr. Casey Means, it's called Good Energy. It really does a deep dive on the state of health here. And then it wasn't until we had made this whole presentation, you know, and one of the things that she really drives home in her book is if, you know, if you've reached your late 40s, if you're not building muscle mass, then you're losing muscle mass. And that is probably one of the lead indicators of a decline in health is the loss of muscle mass, you know. And so eating lots of protein, doing strength training are really the only ways to combat that and to win, you know, to create longevity. You gotta do those two things. And so I took a hard look at my habits and I was like, why have I not, you know, I've known these things for probably 20 years, but why have I not taken action? And I realized, you know, if I truly want to serve those around me, the best gift I can give them is my best self. And so if I want to be a tool in God's hands, if I want to be of service to anyone, then self-care really is the first step. And so I actually started a journey about 2 months ago of really being conscientious about strength training and taking enough protein. And by the way, that's like a full-time job, trying to eat enough protein. I almost have to quit everything else just to get enough protein. But it all starts with that belief. There was something that happened mentally when I realized, you know what, I do care about me. I want to be I want to be here for my kids. I want to be here for my grandkids when they come, and so I get to invest today in that future me. And so it starts with enough self-love to take care of yourself. And so anyways, that's my invitation to each of us today, to sit in that question: what would my life look like if I took care of my body as if it was someone I loved? So thanks again for coming on. Thanks for joining. Yeah, Jessica's reminding us of how Tiffany says it. What do you need, sweetheart? So powerful. So great. All right. Thanks again for jumping on. Thank you for all of the great questions. Thank you for the great comments. This is nourishing to me and my soul to be here with you, and I hope it is for you too. So we'll see y'all next week.